When we talk about corporate ethics, our minds usually jump to those huge headline-grabbing scandals. But what really makes a company ethical? It's not just about avoiding disaster. It's about building a system, a culture, that's truly unbreakable from the inside out. So let's get into how that's done.
All right, let me put you in the hot seat for a second. Imagine your star employee, the one who's just crushing every target, is breaking the rules. But here's the twist. They're doing it for what seems like a good reason, to help out their team. What do you do? This exact kind of gray area is where corporate ethics gets real.
So let's meet Zara. She isn't just a manager. She's an absolute superstar. Her department, highest sales, best customer feedback. And in a company where people leave all the time, she has the lowest employee turnover. She's basically invaluable.
But there's a secret to her success. You see, for small cash sales, customers often say, "Hey, keep the change." Well, instead of ringing it up, she pools that cash to pay her team these little off-the-books bonuses. I mean, she's trying to look out for her people, who are otherwise just scraping by.
Then her manager, Todd, finds out. And he knows this is a huge problem. It's against company policy, sure, but it could also get them in hot water with the IRS. So he does the responsible thing. He goes to the company ethics code for guidance. And what does he find? A measly 2-page document with zero specifics, no one to call for help, nothing. He's totally on his own.
Todd's situation really shines a light on a massive point. Ethical failures are often a sign of a broken system. So how do you build a better one? It all starts with having the right blueprint.
This brings us to a classic idea in ethics. Is it a bad apple or a bad barrel? Yeah, sure, sometimes you just have a bad apple, someone determined to do the wrong thing. But way more often, the organization itself, the barrel, is the real problem. It's a culture that either rewards bad decisions or just doesn't give people the tools to make good ones.
So to fix that barrel, you need a seriously strong ethics program. And it's really built on 3 core pillars: a clear code of conduct that people can actually understand, a dedicated ethics officer they can talk to, and consistent practical training. These are the absolute fundamentals. But even if you have those pillars, there's a bigger question. What's the philosophy driving the whole thing? This gets us to a really important distinction between 2 very different ways of thinking about ethics. So on one hand, you have a compliance-based approach. This is all about laws, rules, regulations. Its whole goal is to stop people from breaking the law. It's all about what you must do. Then, on the other hand, you've got a values-based approach. This is about shared ideals, things like respect, integrity, accountability. The goal here is bigger, to build a truly ethical culture. It's about what you should do.
Now let's be clear, you definitely need both. But a values-based program, that's the foundation. That's what gives employees a real compass to navigate those tricky gray areas. The situations like the one Todd found himself in.
Okay, so let's say a company has this beautiful values-based program all written out. But come on, how do you know if it's actually working? Or is it just a bunch of nice-sounding words on a website to make the company look good? Well, the answer is something called an ethics audit. It's exactly what it sounds like. Just like a financial audit checks the money, an ethics audit systematically checks the company's ethics program to see if it's real and if it's actually working. It is the ultimate reality check. And the impact of doing this right is just undeniable. Check this out. The National Business Ethics Survey found that in companies with a weak ethical culture, a whopping 88% of employees see misconduct. But in companies with a strong culture, that number plummets to just 20%. The difference is staggering. So this just proves it, right? A strong ethics program isn't just some binder collecting dust on a shelf. It's a living, breathing system that can slash observed misconduct by more than 75%. That is a huge, measurable impact.
And what happens when that system fails? Well, this number gives you a pretty good idea. $519 million. Yep, that was the fine that Teva Pharmaceuticals had to pay for bribery. It was the largest criminal fine ever handed out to a pharma company for that reason. A good ethics and compliance program is literally designed to prevent $500 million disasters just like this one. But here's the thing. It's not just about avoiding catastrophe. A strong ethics program is about building a better, stronger, more resilient company. The real-world payoff is huge.
I mean, a solid ethics code touches every single part of the business. It builds public trust, which is priceless. It boosts employee morale, helps you get the best talent, and yeah, it can even give you some legal protection if you ever end up in court.
If you want a fantastic real-world example, just look at Nike. Back in the 90s, they were getting hammered by scandals over child labor in their supply chain. Their brand was taking a serious hit. But instead of just a PR campaign, they took real action. They built auditing tools and, get this, they became the first in their industry to publicly release a list of all their factory locations. Today, people point to them as a leader in transparency.
And this really hits the nail on the head. As the former CEO of PepsiCo, Indra Nooyi, said, companies have to constantly think about how they're building trust and adding value. It's not something that just happens. It's a deliberate strategy.
So, what's the bottom line here? What's the big takeaway? First, a dilemma like the one Todd faced isn't just a personal problem. It's an organizational one. Second, a program that's just a book of rules is doomed to fail. It has to be built on values. Third, you can't just create a program and walk away. You have to test it, audit it, and prove it works. And finally, and maybe most importantly, good ethics isn't just about avoiding bad things. It's about building a stronger, more trusted company.
So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Is your workplace really, truly designed to help people do the right thing when the pressure is on? Is it built to pass an ethics audit? Because the answer to that question says everything about the true strength of your company.